Underglow neon lights. At night, some cars look less like vehicles and more like mobile nightclubs, glowing in neon blues, greens, and purples. That's neon underglow, a trend that burst onto the scene thanks to the early days of the Fast and the Furious. For certain drivers, it's all about standing out, turning every late-night cruise into their own private car show. But here's the catch. As flashy as it looks, Underglow is one of the most impractical mods out there. Kits cost a small fortune, the wiring is a headache, and the lights drain the battery faster than you can say Street Racer. In reality, headlights are all anyone really needs. Everything else is just extra glow for a lot of unnecessary trouble. Excessive stickers. For most drivers, the idea of slapping something sticky onto their car's shiny paint is enough to make them break out in a cold sweat. That finish is sacred, and the thought of ruining it, unthinkable. But then there are the car mod fanatics, the ones who see stickers and decals as a way of giving their ride a personality. To them, it's not just decoration, it's identity. From funny slogans and cartoon characters to sleek manufacturer logos, decals come in every shape and style imaginable. Of course, not everyone sees the appeal. To many, they just look plain cheap. A college bumper sticker? Sure, that's just school pride, even if it doesn't exactly scream style. But when drivers take things further, turning their car into a rolling billboard for hate, that's where the line gets crossed. At that point, it's no longer about taste. It's trashy, it's offensive, and it completely ruins the ride's vibe. Oversized spoilers and wings. Spoilers are one of those car mods that spark endless debate. Sure, a small, well-placed spoiler can give a car a sporty edge, like a little cherry on top. But most of the time, that's all it really is, decoration. If spoilers were truly essential for performance, the car's engineers would have designed them into the build from the start. The real problem comes when drivers go overboard. Slap the wrong spoiler on the wrong car, and instead of boosting speed, it just slows things down. Go even bigger with one of those massive, oversized wings, and now it's not just ugly, it's literally extra weight dragging the car. Add in the cost of buying and installing it, and it's easy to see why this mod is more flash than function. For anyone chasing real performance upgrades, there are far smarter ways to spend that money. Engine sound simulators. When it comes to pointless car gadgets, engine sound simulators deserve a spot right next to those laughable fuel line magnets. The whole idea is simple and ridiculous. These little devices are built to pump out fake engine noises, imitating that deep, throaty growl of a high-performance ride. On paper, it sounds like a cheap shortcut to sounding fast. But here's the catch. Anyone with even a shred of car knowledge can sniff out the fakery instantly. Imagine a stock Mini Cooper suddenly roaring like a V8 beast, or worse, a smart car pretending it's a muscle machine. The mismatch is so obvious it borders on comedy. At the end of the day, all this gadget really buys is embarrassment. Instead of impressing the crowd, it leaves people shaking their heads and asking the same question. Who on earth is this actually for? Double up license plates. Picture this. Someone's got a shiny European import parked proudly in the driveway. The kind of car that already carries an aura of prestige just from the badge on the hood. But for some owners, that subtle flex isn't nearly loud enough. Nope. They need something bigger, bolder, and a little cheekier. Enter the license plate double up. Instead of rolling with just the regular state-issued plate, these drivers slap it right over a decorative European plate. Suddenly you see a German, British, or French plate peeking out from underneath like it's whispering, "Yeah, I'm exotic." The funny part, half of these cars have never even rolled across European asphalt. But that doesn't matter, because with one quick glance, the message is loud and clear. This isn't just a car, it's an import, and everyone needs to know it. Fake air vents or scoops. Some car mods are so pointless that they do nothing but broadcast bad decisions, and fake air vents are right up at the top of the list. They don't cool anything, they don't boost performance, they're just cheap plastic decorations that shout, "I wanted a race car but settled for stickers." Worse yet, peeling them off can risk scratching the paint. Then there are fake hood scoops, which somehow manage to be even worse. Slapped onto the wrong car, they look ridiculous, and the only excitement they might bring is watching one fly off mid-drive, leaving an awkward bare patch behind. In the end, these mods don't make cars faster or cooler, they just make their owners look cheap. Fake carbon fiber wraps. Fake carbon fiber wraps are supposed to give any car that sleek, race-ready vibe, but in reality, they usually turn into a comedy show. Instead of a smooth finish, most of them end up covered in air bubbles and peeling at the edges. The so-called carbon weave looks less like cutting-edge performance material and more like someone stuck plastic wallpaper inside their car. And when people go all in, wrapping the entire dashboard, the effect is less pro-driver and more try-hard on a budget. It's the kind of mod that screams for attention, but for all the wrong reasons. Spinning rims or spinner wheels. Back in the early 2000s, spinners were everywhere. Thanks to hip-hop videos, these rims became the ultimate status symbol. If your wheels kept spinning while the car stopped, you were officially flexing. But behind the shine, they came with some serious problems. Spinners weren't just rims. They were heavy chunks of metal strapped to your wheels, and that extra weight put a ton of stress on the bearings, the very parts that kept everything running smoothly. Instead of cruising in style, drivers often found their cars wobbling awkwardly down the road. So while they look like pure luxury, in reality, spinners are just flashy, expensive downgrades. Shiny hubcaps. When someone wants their wheels to stand out without going as far as swapping tire sizes, hubcaps are the perfect trick. A good set of shiny, stylish hubcaps can instantly transform a car's look, giving it that sleek, custom vibe. The premium ones can be pricey, sometimes over $100 each, but they deliver serious style points. Of course, not everyone wants to drop that kind of cash. That's where the budget-friendly plastic chrome look hubcaps come in. They let drivers fake the luxury look at a fraction of the cost. The catch? They don't last long. One scrape against a curb and the illusion shatters. And at the end of the day, it's the classic case of getting what you pay for. Bullet hole stickers. Imagine someone wanting to add a car accessory that would actually make people stop in their tracks and leave friends wide-eyed. One option out there? Bullet hole decals. Yes, stickers designed to make it look like the car's been through a Hollywood shootout, as if the driver spends weekends dodging explosions and speeding away from villains. For some, it's just a goofy gag, but considering how sensitive the conversation around firearms is in the US, it comes across as more cringeworthy than clever. And beyond the bad taste, there's the practical side. Any sticker left sitting on a car's paint too long is bad news. Add in the tackiness, and it's a guaranteed way to sink the vehicle's resale value. Full body kits. Let's be real. If anyone deserves the blame for the rise of the full body kit craze, it's the Fast and Furious franchise. When those movies hit, Vin Diesel and his crew made souped-up cars look like the ultimate symbol of cool. Naturally, a whole wave of young drivers thought, my daily runaround needs that same vibe. Next thing you know, kids were sneaking into their dad's garage, grabbing tools, and slapping oversized body kits onto whatever car they had. The problem? Most of the time, the results were, well, terrible. But it's not just about looking ridiculous. These kits can actually be dangerous. If they're not installed properly, there's a real chance a piece could come flying off while driving. Imagine a giant fiberglass wing breaking loose on the motorway. Nobody wants to be in that scenario. Massive tailpipes. When it comes to turning heads on the street, some drivers believe there's only one way to do it. Bolt on the biggest tailpipe money can buy. Just like spoilers, the unspoken rule seems to be that size equals style. You've seen them around, exhausts so oversized they look like they belong on a jet engine rather than a car. And sure, they make plenty of noise, letting everyone know someone's arriving. But here's the twist. The thunderous roar often gets followed by laughter, because instead of a Ferrari pulling up, it's usually a humble little Fiesta trying to sound like a supercar. Gaudy interior accessories. Sometimes a car that looks perfect on the outside hides a nightmare once you step inside. Picture it. A sleek ride catches your eye. Smooth lines, gleaming paint, everything looking top tier. But the moment the door swings open, it's like walking into a carnival gone wrong. Drivers often get a little too creative with interior mods, decking out their cabin with glittery gear knobs, cheap alloy pedal covers, and those oversized steering wheel wraps that never sit right. Sure, they're tacky, but at least most of these disasters are temporary and easy to rip out. The real trouble begins when the upgrades go extreme, like bolting in race bucket seats or, worse, installing a full roll cage. That's when the resale value takes a serious hit. Aluminum wiper blades. Most people don't give a second thought to windscreen wipers when buying a car. They're just background players, tucked neatly out of sight when not in use. Car makers even design them to disappear, blending into the bonnet so they don't ruin the clean lines of the vehicle. That's why it feels so odd when someone swaps them out for bright, shiny aluminum blades. Instead of looking sleek or sporty, they stick out like sore thumbs. What's meant to look flashy ends up looking cheap, breaking the flow of the car's design and leaving the whole thing feeling a little tacky. Short ram intake. Now, it's definitely not the worst mod in the world, but let's be honest, it's just not worth the hassle. The pitch sounds great on paper. By shortening the path the air has to travel, the engine supposedly gets more air crammed in at higher speeds, which should mean more horsepower. In theory, it's like giving your engine a little extra oxygen mask. But here's the reality check. Unless the car is a full-blown racing machine, the difference is almost invisible. Even in the best case scenario, you're talking about a measly 5 to 15 horsepower. That's barely enough to notice outside of a dyno chart. Sure, it's cheaper than a proper cold air intake, but when you factor in the cost, time, and effort for such tiny gains, it quickly slides into the not worth it category. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our video, please like, subscribe, comment, and turn on post notifications to stay updated with all our latest content.